to Adrienne now, who's going to introduce our next speaker. And thanks all for being here with us. As a reminder, closed captions are at the bottom of your screen if you need to use that, and feel free to participate in the chat with us as well. Adrienne, take it away.
Well, hello to all. It is so wonderful to be here with all of you today. I'm so inspired by what I've heard so far and can't wait for the rest of the program. I'm Adrienne Shilton, and I'm with the California Alliance of Child and Family Services, and we represent nationally accredited nonprofit community-based organizations in California that are working to serve our most vulnerable children and youth and families. So that includes our LGBTQ plus community, our foster youth, our youth in our Medi-Cal program. And I have the honor today of introducing a hero of mine, one of our California state senators who's here with us, Senator Caroline Menjivar. And she's going to join us for some opening remarks on this Pride Zoomathon. Senator Menjivar took our oath of office on December 5th of 2022. And she represents Burbank, California, and our San Fernando Valley in California's 20th Senate District. She is a first-generation American daughter of Salvadorean immigrants. She was born and raised in the very communities that she now represents. And just a point of personal privilege, Senator Menjivar is a true advocate for the communities that we care about and we're talking about today. Our LGBTQ plus communities, our immigrants, our kids, our foster kids. She stood up and advocated for all of these issues and these values as part of our state budget and policy process. And we at the California Alliance actually named Senator Menjivar as our legislator of the year for her work to ensure that our most vulnerable communities have what they need to thrive. And she also co-chairs our legislative LGBTQ plus caucus that we have in California and has been a leader on our budget subcommittee on human services issues in the Senate. So please help me welcome Senator Menjivar to provide some opening remarks today. Thank you, Senator.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for the beautiful introduction. I really appreciate the kind words and so happy to be here with family. Oh, and I love the theme, right? We're not going anywhere. We are proud, invisible, and unstoppable. And I think, I wasn't always like this, being this queer little kid, 14 years old, 15 years old, just trying to navigate. What does this mean for me? I've never seen an adult who loves the same sex as I do, questioning that. But I was so blessed to have my friend group go through the exact same thing as I was going in high school, and being able to have that chosen family really is what saves me. I was raised Republican. I was raised in that evangelical Christian. It was the questioning, like, does God love me? Am I accepted in this world? If my family doesn't accept me, where can I go? But with time, I realized, and I said this on the Senate floor, I was like, no more breadcrumbs. I deserve it all. I want all unconditional love. And I think everyone deserves that. So as I got a little older, a little braver, a little bit more courageous, I was like, I'm out here super proud lesbian, and I'm going to embed my lesbianism in anything that I can do. If we're having a conversation about oranges, I'm going to bleed that in. I'm a lesbian, whatever we're talking about, 365 days of the year, because I recognize that that representation is still needed. That even to this day, before I became a state senator, being a staffer, going into schools and talking to the GSA clubs or any kind of LGBTQ plus clubs, I would talk to kids and they would be shocked of like, wait, how can you work in government? You're queer. Like, how can you do this? You're queer. And it would shock me because I live in LA and I thought LA was this blue bubble. But I recognize that no, especially in communities of color, especially where religion and culture still play a huge part in people's lives, this representation was still needed. So if I need to be this out, obnoxious lesbian in rural California, bringing representation, and I'm going to do that so that kid can see that we're here for them, that this LGBTQ caucus is going to uplift everything and anything we can, that we're going to take on those battles so that those upcoming generations don't have to, because that's the whole goal, right? To make it easier, for the next generation. And I know the older generation is like, well, but we had it worse. I was like, I don't care if I don't care if this is better for you, but we deserve more and more. I'm so proud to be here with y'all to welcome and kick this off and say that, yes, we might be at the end of our Pride Month. And yes, maybe this year's Pride was a little overshadowed with what's going on across California, across the world. But even in that space, we still need to recognize that we need to make sure that we're uplifting our queer youth, our trans youth, that even a couple of days ago, California is just being demanded to do X, Y, and Z. Things are closing down that are affirming for our kids. But like the leaders here, we're introducing legislation to combat that. We're introducing things to ensure, like, yeah, that can happen in another state, but here in California, we're going to try our best to reaffirm you. I'm always reminded during this month, especially in this month, and I think I forgot who was Leonard that talked about this, of reminding ourselves how we started. We didn't start this civil rights movement for us by being quiet, by sitting in a corner, by keeping our mouth shut. We got to where we got to because we were radical. I'm able to wear pants because the lesbians of 50 years ago said, I don't want to wear dresses and we're going to start wearing pants. And that was crazy back then. We're at this point where I can say I've been married for 8 years and have the ability to be married because people did protests for Prop 8. But because we did a kissing in front of Chick-fil-A, because we did all these things. And we said, we are not going to go quiet. We're not going anywhere. You're not shoving us back in that closet. No one is going to be living in a closet or a small space. So I am proud of our history, of our identity. And even after June passes and we go into July, let's not remember that this fight continues for the whole year. We can go into LGBTQ plus History Month and talk about all the beautiful things our queer people have done yesterday, today, and tomorrow. So I just wanted to come here and say I'm so excited for people making space, gathering space as we close out Pride. And I'm closing out Pride this Saturday with my 3rd annual San Fernando Valley Pride Parade, where for me, it's important to bring representation to communities of color, where we take over a street, where we march. The theme is rooted in resistance, because that's what we're talking about. We're going to continue to resist the blatant obliteration of our community is what I'm seeing. And as a veteran, I'm also reminded and saddened that my trans sisters and brothers were kicked out of the military when not everybody decides to sign up. And that small 10% of crazy people who want to wear that uniform should be allowed to wear that uniform with pride. But thank you again. Happy Pride, everyone. I hope we continue to kick ass, take names, and take up as much space as possible. Happy Pride.
Yeah, Senator Menjivar, thank you so much for being here. And if I could just ask real quick, what do you do for joy when you're not working, when you need to fill up your cup? What do you do?
I'm going to do it today, actually, because we weren't supposed to be in Sacramento today. So it's a weird day. So not a lot of meetings. So I am an very, very cliche lesbian. Put me in a river, put me in hiking boots, put me outside, and I'm happy. So I'm going to go to the American River up here in Sacramento, get a chair, get a book, and just sit in the water and just make sure I can see some trees around me.
I love that. Well, thank you so much. Thanks for being here and your words. We really appreciate it. And all the work that you're doing on behalf of community is greatly appreciated. So thank you so much and have a good rest of your day.
Take care, y'all.
All right. Well, that was lovely. Thank you so much again, Senator Menjivar.